Everyone, today we're diving into the basics of crochet. This tutorial is perfect if you're a beginner and want to learn foundations, techniques that will get you started with simple projects. By the end of this tutorial, you'll know how to make a simple crochet square. So grab your hook and yarn and let's get started. For this tutorial, here's what you'll need: a crochet hook. Size 5mm is great for beginners. And I have chosen Bernette blanket yarn. This is chunky, size 6. And I've noticed for me when I started learning that it was a lot easier to learn on than the smaller ones, but you choose what feels comfortable to you. Next, we'll need scissors for trimming and a yarn needle to weave in the ends when we're done. This is the starting row for almost every crochet project. Start with a slip knot. Take your yarn, make a loop, and pull a bit of yarn through the loop to create the knot that slides. I'm going to do that one more time. Take your yarn, make a loop, and pull a bit of yarn through the loop to create that knot that slides. Next, place the loop on your hook. This is your first stitch. Now to make the foundation chain, yarn over by looping the yarn over your hook from back to front. Pull it through the loop of your hook. We're going to do that one more time. So our hook is placed on the loop. Now we are going to yarn over by looping the yarn over your hook from back to front and pull through the loop on your hook. Repeat this until you have 12 chains. This was your first chain, but if you want to make a larger square, feel free to add more chains. So I have one. I'm going to yarn over, pull through the loop, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Great job on the foundation chain. Now let's learn the single crochet stitch. This is one of the most basic and versatile stitches. So we're going to insert our hook into the second chain from the hook. So it's a little bit hard to tell. So we do not want to put our hook into this one. We want to put it into this one. So we count 1, 2. Again, 1 and 2. So I'm going to insert my hook into the second chain. I'm going to yarn over, pull through. So you have 2 loops on your hook now. Yarn over again and pull through both loops. That is 1 single crochet stitch. Continue working a single crochet into each chain across your row until you reach the end. So I will do that again. I'm going to go into my next stitch right here. Right here. I'm going to insert my hook. Going to yarn over. Pull my yarn through. So I have 2 loops. Going to yarn over again. And I'm going to pull through both loops. And that is my second single crochet stitch. And we are going to do it all throughout the chain. I'm going to do it one more time. Going to insert my hook to the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. I have 2 loops on my hook, yarn over again, and pull through both loops. So now we have 1, 2, 3 single crochet stitches. Let's continue. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I am now at my end. And 11. At the end of your row, it's time to start a new row. Chain 1. This is called a turning chain. And turn your work so you're crocheting in the opposite direction. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to yarn over, pull through, and now I'm going to turn my project. Now insert your hook into the first stitch from the previous row. Then single crochet across the row. If you've noticed, this is different from the beginning foundation chain that we did. We are no longer going and inserting into the second chain. We are inserting into the first chain. This is done by going and chaining 1. We're able to do that and it won't come apart. So now we're going to start single crocheting. I'm going to go through, going to pull the yarn back through. So I have 2 loops, yarn over, and there is 1. Keep repeating this process and chain 1 at the end of each section. Turn and single crochet across until your square is the size that you like. So we're going to continue single crocheting. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ten. Last one. 11. And just as I did before, to start a new row, I'm going to chain 1 by yarning over, pulling through that loop, turn my project over, and then I'm going to crochet into this first loop right here. Just like before, I'm going to single crochet my way down. Chain 1, and continue down. So I'm going to finish the rest of this off camera and I will meet you back at the end. Once your square is the size you want, it's time to finish off. So after your last stitch, I will show what mine looks like. Once your square is the size you want, it's time to finish off. After your last stitch, I'm going to cut the yarn, leaving a tail about 6 inches long. We're going to insert our hook back into the loop, and we're going to fasten off by pulling that loop all the way through. Next, you'll be left with these strings. So we're going to thread the tail onto the yarn needle and weave it in your stitches to hide it. As you can see, I have the yarn needle coming out on this side and it's hooked onto the hoop. So what I did is I only went and pulled my yarn needle through the front loops right here. So if I turn it over, you won't be able to see your ends at all. So now I'm going to pull through. And then what I like to do is I kind of like to make a back and forth line. Turn it over. There's no yarn ends and there is no needle showing. So I pull it through. I always kind of like to loosen this section up so that way it lays sitting more pretty. And I continue going back and forth until I have a little yarn left. On the last section, I'm going to pull through. Again, make it look sitting pretty. And then what I'm going to do is I cut. And then most of the time I get away with pushing the yarn inside and then it remains hidden. And you're going to do the same thing to this side. And for this side, I made it a bit too short, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut it and shove the rest of the yarn in as best as I can. Sometimes if it's being stubborn, you can take the end of your needle and poke it in. Congratulations, you've just made a crochet square and learned all the basics, how to start with a slip knot, make a foundation chain, and do single crochet stitches. From here, you can experience with larger projects like blankets or small amigurumi designs. Thank you so much for joining me in this tutorial and happy crocheting!